Hey, Motorman here. Had a class the other day, just two riders, one of which I hadn't met before. And as usual, we start off with my wife demonstrating the exercise. That's the slow cone weave. The cones, I think, are 14 feet apart here. Now take a look at this rider. His name is Richard, and he's on a Suzuki M109. That's a very long wheelbase, long rake motorcycle. Big fat rear tire. It's probably one of the motorcycles you wouldn't want to choose for this type of maneuvering. But in addition, Richard bought this bike used, and the previous owner lowered it about 2 inches, so they don't have much ground clearance to begin with, and it's got even less. But this rider had zero fear. He practiced prior to coming to the class, and as you'll see, he does an excellent job. The other rider we have here is Bill, and Bill had come to the class back in, I think it was in May. It was the first time I met Bill, and I think he said 71 years old, wanted to get better, and I gave him a private lesson, and he is doing excellent on that motorcycle now. He has come a long way. In fact, at some point in this video, I'm going to show you what he was like previously when he came to the first class. It's almost laughable, but he's doing excellent now, despite his age.
Notice the bike never goes straight. It's turning in one direction or the other. The idea of this is to get you to feel that bike transition quickly from extreme left to extreme right. Head and eyes, extremely important. Right now I got these gates pretty wide. I will tighten them up. So.
They're wide?
Oh yeah, oh they're gigantic. We could put an 18-wheeler through here. There's the final gate.
Bullshit. 18-wheeler my ass, maybe down the middle.
Yeah, easily. Here's Richard's first time through this exercise. Doing excellent for the first time through. Very good. If all my students were like this, not much ground clearance. In fact, that's his exhaust pipe actually hitting the ground. That's why I tell you folks, never lower your motorcycle. Lower the seat instead. He didn't do it though. It was the previous owner who lowered that bike. Now Bill is on the ultra low, so instead of having 32 degrees lean angle, he's probably got about 30. I think they stopped making the low model now, and I'm not sure why, but I'm glad of it because there are so many seat options on Harley Davidsons that you can get your feet really close to the ground simply by changing the seat without screwing around with the suspension.
Here's Bill when I first met him. This is, I believe, at the end of May. He came to a class, and it's just a dramatic change in his abilities. Here he's going too slow. He's barely turning his head. His head turns are also too slow. Just trying to keep the bike as straight up as possible, and that's making his turns through this exercise gigantic. I even had the gates extremely wide for this class, but still he's having all kinds of problems.
Nice head turn there. Excellent job. is Richard's first time with that big clumsy motorcycle. He made the first one. If you make the first one, you should be able to make them all because they're all the same size. Looking at it, he's looking at that cone. He doesn't want to hit.
Still not turning his head fast.
You're still looking at that cone that you don't want to hit, and your head turn is way too slow. You're not turning your head until you get to the very end of the leg. I want you to turn your head and find that next green cone. Well,
Right away.
As soon as that U-turn is finished, you need to look for it.
I noticed too that when I watch these videos, I also learn something. I see what Bill's mistake here. In addition to not turning his head quick enough, he's not using his rear brake. I can see an occasional flash of rear brake, but he's not at the level where he can go through these exercises with no rear brake yet. I'm sure he's going to watch this and learn something by it as well. Drag that rear brake like this rider is doing. He's dragging it the entire time, and that helps to stabilize the bike. It gives you 3 ways to control your speed: clutch, throttle, and the rear brake. I believe I spoke with Bill about this before, but he's kind of stubborn. I'm sure he'll get it. Got to drag that rear brake. It just makes things so much easier. I can see he had no brake lights on at all, so he was carrying a little bit too much speed in that turn. That makes his turn a little too wide. Now he's off the brake again. Almost hits the cone because he looks at it. And once again, just not quite in control. The faster you go, the wider your turn is going to be. That rear brake is going to really help 95% of riders to stabilize their speed and have complete control: clutch, throttle, and brake. Now, this is the exercise most riders find the most difficult. That first circle to the left is 30 feet. As they go into the next circle, it's going to be 26 feet to the right. And of course, with Donna following like this, it puts extra pressure on the riders. But I know they can do it because they've already done it several times by themselves. So putting a little pressure is good. With me following, I'd probably be blowing the air horn or blasting the siren for just that much more pressure. But Donna won't do that. Here she is following Bill through the exercise. As I said, he's already gone through this 2 or 3 times on this date and did it perfectly, so put a little bit more pressure on him. Got to up your game. You want to get better? If you can't take the pressure, don't ever commit a crime. You'll fold under questioning. Cops will get you to talk. Till next time.